Hi, I'm Tim Gillespie. I'm a former member of the Westport Planning Board. I'm now a member of the Community Preservation Committee and a few other committees in town. And I have a little history in town with some of the planning efforts that we've experienced over the last couple of decades. And when I was on the planning board in the early 90s, one of the things that frustrated me beyond measure was the fact that we would see these Chapter 61A pieces of land that farmers controlled coming before us because the farmers were having trouble keeping things rolling, and they would put their land up for sale. And the town had the right of first refusal on these Chapter 61A parcels. And never in a single time did the town ever exercise their option to make offers on that land, and for a very simple reason: we had no money to do it. But everybody sort of groaned every time one of these beautiful farms would go to development. Not only did we lose that open space, but we lost farmers. We lost the ability of farmers to continue farming in Westport. And so we launched a fairly aggressive effort back in those days to get the town to adopt a land bank, which was something they were doing on the Cape. And the town passed it. The town said, yeah, let's go for a land bank. We're going to charge some money to everybody in town. We're going to assemble a fund of money, and we're going to use it to save open space in Westport. And the state was confronted with more than just the town of Westport going after these kinds of programs, and decided they wanted to do something that would work for everyone in the state, not just one town at a time the way they wanted to do it. And so what the state did in their infinite wisdom was came up with the Community Preservation Act. And although when it started, I was a little reluctant to accept the fact that they were going to do affordable housing and historic preservation along with open space, because for me open space was the big deal. Now that the program has been adopted and the town of Westport's been doing it for a good long time now, I see the brilliance of that program and how much good it has done in the town of Westport. It has just been a fabulous thing. The town kicks in pennies and gets back dollars for every penny it puts in to go towards programs that are really important to the town and that we have not had the money in the past to pay for these things. Some of the most significant are things like the dredging of the Westport River. We used to put money in a pot to dredge the Westport River, and then the Finance Committee would sweep it into another fund because we didn't really have the money to carry that project through. With CPA money, we actually got the dredging done, and now we're going to have it done for us at no expense to the town. When we were working on the master plan, we looked at the entire town and the issues that the town faced, and tried to get a sense of what the people in Westport, both north and south, valued about Westport and what they wanted to see stay the way it was, or whether they cared about that. And we got a pretty enthusiastic response from the town that, yes, what they love about Westport is its rural character and the way that's expressed in the farmland and the stone walls and the river and the agriculture and the fishing and all of that stuff. And what we did was we came up with a master plan that expressed what we wanted to see as a roadmap to the future. And one of the very significant elements of that was that the town wanted to see the rural character preserved, its historic resources preserved, and we wanted to make opportunities for people to live here that couldn't necessarily afford to live here now. I would like to see my children have an opportunity to live here. And the fact that the CPA has enabled a program called the Affordable Housing Trust, that may indeed happen. Maybe my kids will be able to live here someday. It would be just fabulous if that happened. And we have a lot of resource in town still. We have a lot of open space that is worth preserving in both the north and the south. If you drive along Blossom Road and up along Old Fall River Road, you'll see some fabulous farmland. You'll see some old historic buildings like the Grange up on Old Fall River Road. You'll see cemeteries that have been mapped and cataloged by a spectacular CPC program that we funded. And you'll see opportunities that it would be a shame not to be able to take advantage of when they come up. Right now we're considering an application by the Westport Land Trust and the Trustees of Reservations to take on a piece of property that is between the old Lincoln Park and the Noquachoke Village Affordable Housing Project that the CPC has supported and is now underway in terms of getting to the point where they're actually going to start building something. And this is a fairly significant piece of open space right now. It fronts along the river as it runs through the Noquachoke Village area. It covers the whole east side of that branch of the river, and it's important, I think, to save that open space and not see it go to something like a housing development for a number of reasons, not the least of which is to protect the resource of the Westport River and some of the runoff that gets into it. Leaving it open space and making it a recreational spot where all the citizens of Westport can use it is a really important and valuable thing to do. If they ever do develop the big Lincoln Park development that the town of Dartmouth is looking at right now, it's going to put some pressure on the river just by what the stormwater issues and all those other issues are going to be, and all the impervious surfaces that are going to have an impact on Westport and the Westport River. And so keeping this piece of property open, I think, is an important thing to do, and we are recommending that at town meeting this year, and hopefully the town will support it. The other issue that I find really important is, although some people consider that the community preservation surcharge might be a burden to them, when you consider the fact that the actual average per household, not the average across the board, but the average person in Westport pays under $50 a year to go into the CPC, and that $50 will leverage hundreds of dollars to go into programs by enabling us to partner with people like the trustees of reservations and the Westport Land Trust. And so I think it's the best investment you could ever make. Where are you going to get that kind of return on a $40 investment and get back, in some cases, 300, 1,000%? If you could get 5%, you'd be feeling you were doing pretty well. And right now the match from the state is at about 25, 28%. We're hoping that the act that they're now pondering in the state will pass and guarantee we get 75% match again. For the first several years we had CPC, we had 100% match. Every dollar we raised in town, the state matched it. And we're going to get back closer to that if this passes. So I would encourage people to support the CPA and CPC in Westport and support it at the levels that it's at right now. There might be some suggestions to reduce the draw to 1% or to exclude the first 100,000. And although I think someday that's probably going to be the thing to do, I think right now the kinds of programs that are looking for support and continued support from CPC, we need to stay at the level we're at, is my belief, for at least a few more years, and then we should start considering maybe drawing that down a little bit. Thanks a lot.